Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another morning here at the Damage Report. It's not noon. We're in the Pacific, so it's 9:24 right now, which I think is officially like when the pre-show starts. 9:24 every day. I'm kidding. It could be like 5, 10, 15 minutes earlier, but this is what we have right now. So thank you for being here, everybody. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. As I've said before, if we don't get to 1,000 likes, I will not do the news. Damn it! No, I'm kidding. I will. But I'm very happy to have you here. Today's Thursday. It's one of our days where you never know who you're going to get. Hey, Gabby, how's it going? But we have a special treat for you. A little bit of fun. Abelina Sabrina, who we've had a lot of fun doing like game nights and stuff like that on Twitch. Going to be joining me for the show, so that's going to be awesome. Hey, Shay. Matthew, thank you for your loyalty. That's very nice of you. I would love to have Emma on this show. That way you can watch both of us simultaneously, but I don't know if it's going to happen. But anyway, I got a lot of news for you. We got a ton of news in the full show, including a block of, I'm going to keep it real, it's a bit of a downer, but some pretty devastating historic and current stories about the abuse of children in Canada and in the United States. Where we're crossing the continent here, baby. And those are going to be a little bit rough. But we've got updates on the upcoming conversation about taxes for the bipartisan infrastructure bill. We've got stuff on the Olympics. We've got competing strategies to get people vaccinated. Which do we think is going to work? We'll see. Maybe none. And a lot more besides. Tons of stuff. We actually get to talk about Archer. We have a story, a political story about the cartoon Archer. They said it couldn't be done, but we're doing it. So thank you for being here. No, the Dragon Pre-Show does not need to be a separate channel. It is hard enough to grow on YouTube as it is without needlessly separating, but thank you. Look at that. We're about to hit 1,000 people, but not 1,000 likes. What the F? Anyway, okay, so a lot of little things I want to talk about, and then we'll get to the headline story, the insane, just casual, everyday racism that people have to deal with in America. So we're going to get to that in a little bit, but I want to start off with a couple things that you might see going around. Wait, hold on one sec. You're going to cover the missing class of 2021. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Are you talking about the fact that there are so many people who have had their thing thrown into chaos? I don't know, but let me know. Made Money into Building says, I saw my BFF and her family that I grew up with last night. It was so nice. Then went, lit a fire pit and drank tequila. I'm going to be maid of honor. Oh, look at that little nice bit of news. That's cool. Okay, so two stories that you might see going around. Austin, I won't. Two stories you might see going around that you might expect that I would get focused on or get really into, and I just sort of can't. So there's this story going around pretty much everywhere. I think it's on the front page of the New York Times about Trump charging the Secret Service to stay in his New Jersey golf club. So that apparently is true, but I don't know. They have defrauded the American people for so much money that him doing it for $10,000, I don't know. Am I the bad guy? Maybe I've been so beaten down that I just can't get worked up about it. And particularly because he's the former president. He gets Secret Service. And sure, the fact that he hangs out at his clubs and then charges them to stay there when he could totally not do that is petty. It's corrupt. But in comparison to so many things he's done, where do we rank this? Is this in the top 20? Is this in the top 50 corrupt things that he's done? Is it in the top 200? I don't know. So I know that it's everywhere, but I can't get that worked up about it. It's just such a small amount in comparison to all of the other things that we've had to deal with. Billy Shively, hey Billy, says, hit 1,000 people. Violent John confirmed. Well, I'm not going to hit them, but I want you to be here. He broke AF, that's why. Well, yeah, probably. But it's $10,000. I don't think that it ranks. There's another one, by the way, and this is I haven't seen this as much, but I feel like people are spreading this story because it looks like it's going to hurt Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Greene, and it's that this group that raises money for and supports conservative women, like GOP congresswomen and stuff like that, don't like them. Those two, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Greene, calls them carnival barkers. But I don't think that they care. I don't think that they give a damn. Well, maybe Boebert will, because I don't know how Boebert's doing in terms of the fundraising. But Marjorie Greene is like, there's a lot of really stupid racist people in this country, and they're showering her with money. So I don't think that she cares. She would, the value in electing women political action committee. Like, I'm sure she probably likes it. It makes her more of a maverick that they're not supporting her. So I don't know. I saw that and I thought, I don't think that they particularly care. So those are two stories that I maybe you would guess that I would be super into, but I just don't. Yeah, their fans do like carnival barkers. By the way, you know who else like carnival barkers? Pretty much everyone. Like, it is my theory now that everybody wants their Trump. There might be some differences between the Trumps, but they all like an asshole. They want an asshole who will tell them that what they believe already is true, will help to shield them from information that would cause them cognitive dissonance, any sort of psychic trauma, even brief or a small amount, and points them in the direction of people that they don't have to have any respect for and should hate. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of that. Not, there's differences, but anyway. Wayne, hey Wayne, says, John, may I get please get a shout out for my brother Mark. He's 64 today. Thank you in advance. Mark, happy birthday. I hope that it's a good one. Posted about the lost class videos in the Discord a while back. Very powerful videos. Tricked NRA to speak to empty chair. Oh, yes. No, we didn't cover that, but that was a really interesting story. So basically, they addressed like a group of chairs representing all those who were taken by that violence. Yes. It's a good idea. BC Trumpet says, Trump's New Jersey golf course is close to where I grew up, Manville. Fun fact, used to be the asbestos capital of the world, and now it's toxic in a different way. Anyway, so that's some stuff that I don't particularly care about. I'm not saying that people can't. I'm not that judgy, but I don't particularly care about it. But anyway, let's get into stuff that I do care about. So one is they are continuing to conduct rapid-fire studies of the Delta variant and the other variants of, Sam, I'm going to get to it, and other variants of COVID. And they're learning lessons, and it's complex. But one thing that I just want to make sure that we talk about, because I'm not sure that we've mentioned this in our multiple stories about the Delta variant and all that, is that while the vaccines that we use offer fairly robust, although differing, depending on which one you get, protection against the Delta variant, one thing that seems to be consistent across all of them is you gotta get both of your shots. That one provides mediocre at best protection against the Delta variant. So I don't know how many of you out there have only gotten one shot, and if you have, I don't know how many would be debating whether to get the second, but please get the second, okay? From what we are seeing, these more virulent, easier to spread variants of this, definitely you need that extra protection. So get both of them if you can. Maybe you're in an area in a country where you don't have access to it yet. That sucks, and I partly blame the US for that, but hopefully you get access to it. Also, we are starting to map out where Delta variant is really starting to spread fast in the US, and they have found some different clusters that could be significant and then the focus of a lot of news coming up in the next few months. And that is Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Louisiana. All of them are currently experiencing a rise in cases where the Delta variant is overrepresented. Moondragon is right. They are red states uniformly, I believe. Yes. Those clusters include a population of about, no, I didn't get my second because I got J&J, of about 15 million people. That is a small portion of the U.S. population, but a significant amount of people. That's bigger than Sweden. It's bigger than Cuba. It's Somalia or whatever. So a lot of people still at risk, and these are areas that have far lower rates of vaccination. At large, one shot, I think nationally is at about 70%, but some of these states have as low as 50% vaccination. That is a big chunk of more vulnerable people that are going to be spreading this around. So as of right now, the 2 week, like today, the rolling average today compared to 2 weeks ago, deaths are down substantially, something like 30, 40% or something like that. But cases are back up 30 or 40%. And that is not, as I continually try to emphasize, that is not spread evenly across the United States. is disproportionately in these clustered areas. And maybe it'll just be sickness and that's it. And it'll pass and it's fine. But maybe in a few weeks we'll start to see hospitalizations really rise in these states. And maybe in a month we're going to start to see deaths rise in these states. And again, as I keep saying, it is not going to be a wave like in the past, almost certainly. It's not going to be 4,000 people dying a day, but it is still going to be a lot of needless deaths in these areas. These areas filled with people who, for a variety of reasons, including misinformation, are not getting vaccinated when they can. If you are in this area, if you know people in this area, please encourage them to get vaccinated because the next period of a month or two could be really rough in these areas. I think I missed a super chat. Ray Turner says, in the UK, it's starting to be called the Boris variant because he refused to close the borders to people coming from India for 17 days after others. Yeah, the UK has had a lot of mismanagement. I don't think at our level, but pretty bad. Mel Canless says, John, you should get an mRNA vaccination in addition to your J&J. It works better on the variants. I look into it. I don't know about combining vaccines. I don't know about whether the CDC and all that believes that's a good idea. I'm only going to briefly mention this individual because yesterday I burned out on the assholes. There's too many assholes. I can only take it for too much. It's part of the show. It's part of our mission statement is going to war with these assholes, but I can't take it sometimes. But anyway, Tucker Carlson demonstrated once again how much the right not only obviously loves to be victims, that's the most obvious thing in the world, but how desperate they are to do, it's not projection, it's kind of like reverse projection. It is they know what they're doing, and they know who will be victims of what they're doing, but they want to be victims, so they pretend that they're victims of the thing that they're doing, but it's actually the left that's doing it. It's a complex thing. I don't know of one word that really describes it, but let me demonstrate an example. So, Tucker Carlson said, forcing you to put things in your body, like if a college requires vaccination, is straight out of The Handmaid's Tale. So, you know, like how the left has been saying, hey, you guys want to like totally outlaw abortion, you want to control our bodies, you believe in defending like marital rape and taking away all these rights of women and everything. That's like out of The Handmaid's Tale. No, no, no. It's actually the left that is out of The Handmaid's Tale because they are encouraging people to take voluntary free medicine that they're not required to take. So you see that? The right is actually the victims because you're encouraging them to take this thing that they think Trump deserves credit for, but they don't want to take. And they're not just victims, but they're victims of the exact thing the left has been saying. So no, it's not that like we're bad, you guys are bad in the same way. And this is why you lead to, like, someone said that asking people to mask up is like making them sit in the back of a bus or whatever. They know what they're doing. They're not content to just be victims. They want to be victims in exactly the way they have had to watch the actual victims talk about throughout their lives. It's pathetic, it's transparent, but it's there, and millions of people watched that Tucker Carlson episode last night and absorbed that absolute garbage. Okay, Moondragon says, immunologists say J&J is sufficient against the variants. That's what I believed I'd read. Occam's Taser says, that's funny, says, can TYT surprise Anna with a second day of birthday wishes? We could call something like Happy After Birthday, Anna. I don't think we're going to do that, but it's very nice of you. Okay, Omega Shenron Dragon says, the teardrop motion the numbers did here in NYC. Fast change, yes. Prediction, as soon as the high-speed rail from LA to Las Vegas goes through, conservatives will be crying, why isn't there a high-speed rail from Los Angeles to Sacramento? Probably. Arthur Ashbrook says, I'm so glad I live in a blue state, Virginia. Purple. Maybe. Eurotel. Elizabeth DeLelio says, I wonder how this Delta variant wave will impact the 2022 election. Will more older Republican voters die before they can vote? Sad. Well, look, I think that's perfectly valid to wonder, not to hope for, but to wonder. And yeah, I don't know that the numbers will be significant enough that it will throw an area or something like that, but it is going to be even more disproportionate going forward, and I don't want it to be. We're trying to stop that. Becca Gould says, Loki Dragon here. Southwest Missouri is a hot mess. They're begging for ventilators RTs, doctors, and nurses. Hospitals are overflowing, and none of these people have gotten their Fauci ouchie. And it didn't have to happen. Main Coast says, how about a poll for TYT audience? Fully vaxxed, half vaxxed, not vaxxed yet, not going to. I suspect we'd have good numbers. I like that. I'm going to try to remember that, actually. Billy Shively says, happy after birthday. Yikes. That's a good point. Wholesome says, John, have you played or heard of Socialist Monopoly board game? I believe we actually covered that years ago on the show, but no, I haven't played it. Okay, there was a bunch of other stupid bullshit. I actually was going to give Marjorie Green credit for something, but oops, we don't have time. Maybe tomorrow or whatever. And oh, this cop story is really good, but I don't think we're going to make it to it. So let's talk briefly about this. So you remember, like last year, this is mainly in the run-up to the big social campaign against police brutality and racism and all that has now turned into this like right-wing meltdown about critical race theory and everything. There was a lot of spotlighting of people who were just casually being entitled and racist and stuff like that. I don't know why I stupidly thought that a combination of two things would have stopped that. One is a year-long focus on racism and us having to come together to fight this pandemic. But it hasn't happened. It hasn't stopped this. They're still out there. Here's something that was going viral on TikTok. So a Trump supporter just spraying her black neighbor casually with her hose. So we're going to jump around this a little bit. But here's what's going on. Hopefully it won't be too loud.
So she found water over my mouth.
You can see it there. Over the fence with tons of defend our police and Trump signs, spraying a black woman with a hose.
I'm outside cleaning the grill, and this is what she does.
This woman was just trying to clean her grill. Her daughter's filming it. And it's almost perfect that it's juxtaposed with the Blake Shelton climbing the chart, because that's casual. The radio's on. And this is too. This woman just does this. Probably doesn't even think of herself as a racist. She just goes about her life, and sometimes I'll spray people with a hose. By the way, very funny, the account that was tweeting this out was Marjorie Gaylor Queen. And it's a guy with a pride flag as his icon. I don't know who this is. I don't know if it's a big account or something, but I thought that was pretty funny. And the thing is, like, so this video we have because the daughter was filming it. She had her phone out, and one would hope at least, maybe, John, try screen share. No, but it's not on my phone. I can't, it's too complicated. I'm just gonna film it. It doesn't matter. But anyway, how many of these don't get filmed? Are you willing to, like, is it we see 1 in 10? Do we see 1 in 100? Do we see 1 in 1,000? I don't know. It's impossible to say. But it's just out there and it's casual. And this woman has to deal with the fact that this woman can get away with just spraying her with a hose. And look, certainly we've seen more violence in these sorts of incidents, calling the cops, trying to get them killed and stuff like that. But that doesn't make the more casual stuff acceptable. A belief that she is almost literally shielded by her Trump signs. That's what she's hiding behind. I don't need to be good. I don't even need to try avoiding being racist while I'm being filmed, because I am part of this movement. This movement has told me that I am right. I should be fighting back against people like you, casually spraying you and all that. And I wonder, is it just more visual now? Is it more visible now than it was, or is it worse? Like, I don't want to just assume that because we can see it more that it definitely is worse, but it feels like it's worse. It feels like it is a movement that has made it more common, not just more visible, but more common. And I don't know. This is part of white privilege, is I am protected from that sort of thing. Not to say that I haven't had bad incidents with neighbors and things like that, but I'm not going to get casually sprayed by a hose. And thankfully the daughter was filming it, because otherwise we never would have known. And God only knows how many incidents like that were happening in that neighborhood, in that city, in Pennsylvania, in that state, and around the country. Anyway, I thank you everybody for joining me for the pre-show. Much appreciated. Love that we soared past that 1,000 mark. Okay, we've got Abelina Sabrina, Twitch, phenomenon, who's going to be joining us on the show. We're going to be covering so much news. It's a rough day for kids, a rough day for us, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to get through it together. So I hope to hopefully either see you here or twitch.tv/TYT. And until then, go get yourself some coffee. I'm going to.